Can we have a moment for the fact that I'm filming in daylight today? Amazing. This is early Monday morning. I would like to play a game with you today, so something a little different. One of my favorite things when I was younger was dingbats. I don't know if they're called dingbats everywhere, so that may be a weird phrase. So if it is, let me explain. It's basically where you're given a picture or a series of pictures and symbols, and you have to say what you see, and that will form a well-known phrase. But in this instance, it will form a well-known book title. I have picked 20 books and I have turned those book titles into pictures where you have to solve the clues and name that book. And I have picked 20 classics, or at least very well-known books, because I know it's really frustrating to do a quiz where you're struggling to find the answer and maybe it's this really obscure book that you have never heard of. So hopefully, even if you haven't read these books, and I haven't read all of these books, you will at least have heard of most of them, if not all of them. Let me show you an example so you can get to grips with what I mean. But before I even show you that, let me just quickly say that if you are visually impaired, you can still play this game. If you go down to the description box down below, you will find a link that I've created to take you to a page which has a list of all the image descriptions of the questions, the pictures that I'm going to show you that you need to solve, so you can still take part in the quiz. Okay, let me show you an example on the screen right now. Here is an example bookish dingbat. As I said, you have to say what you see. And in this case, we can see a hand, we can see a cleaning lady or maybe a maid, and we can see a whale's tail. In fact, I'm doing this by memory. Is it a whale's tail or a mermaid's tail? I can't remember which picture I used. Anyway, you can see on the screen, it's some form of tail. So in this instance, this book would be The Handmaid's Tale. When you're playing this game, it may be that you need to use the whole word of one symbol. So hand, you used all of that. Or it may be that you use part of that word, a couple of syllables, or something that sounds like it. So it may be a homophone. So just sound out what you see until you get a book title. There are 20 of these that I have created. If you took part in the bookish quiz that Jean and Lauren and I did a few months ago, you will already have done the first 10, because I'm recycling them here because that was not on my channel, it was over on Jean's, I think. So if you took that quiz, you can either, if you've forgotten, do that part again, or you can skip to number 11 and do the second half of the quiz. I am going to put each of these bookish dingbats on the screen for 1 minute. There will be a timer for each one. You can of course pause the video if you need to look at it for longer. The timer is just there to kind of spur everybody on. Some of them are harder than others. If you're feeling really competitive, you can always record the time that you got each one in and then add that up and say at the end, I got them all in this many minutes. I'm not offering prizes, so you can just give yourself an extra pat on the back if you get it done in less than 20 minutes, so you can skip ahead to the next one once you think you've guessed it. And then at the end of those 20 that I'm going to put on the screen with some Christmas music in a second, I will come back to you and I will tell you the answers. If you don't want to be spoiled for any of these, do not look in the comments before we start this quiz, because I'm sure that there will be some answers there. Is that everything that I need to say? I think that's everything that I need to say. So grab a pen, a piece of paper, and good luck. So how is that? How did we do? How do we think we did? I always find dingbats really fascinating because sometimes you see one and it's really, really obvious. And then sometimes you'll look at something for ages and you just can't get it. And then when someone tells you what it is, it's really frustrating because you think you should have got it in the first place. Let me go through the answers. Okay, so number one, as you can see here, we've got a calendar. Then we've got a VHS tape, so a videotape. Then we have a copper wire. And then we have a picture of some land outside, maybe a field. This was David Copperfield. So day, days of the week, vid for video, copper, field. I quite enjoyed that one. Number two, we have a picture of Harry McClary. Though I think if you didn't know it was Harry McClary, which is a Scottish children's book, hairy dog, you probably would have seen that anyway. A pot, then we have an ER, so an A&E, a 50% off sign, a splash of red, looking blood, and Prince. So this was Harry, not Harry, stretching the word there, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Number three amuses me. It is just The Colour Purple by Alice Walker. I don't know why that one amuses me so much. Number four is someone who is laughing, an emoji of someone who is laughing, then someone who is eating, and then some words that say, ah. And this is lol, eat, ah. Lolita by Nabokov. Number five is a bee, followed by a heart, followed by a picture of Ed Sheeran. This one was Beloved by, I nearly said by Ed Sheeran. Beloved is not by Ed Sheeran. Beloved is by Toni Morrison. Number six, we have a van. Then we have a picture of, what is his name? I was gonna say Periwinkle, that is wrong. Pennywise. Pennywise from Stephen King's It, which I have never read and never seen. Then we have the letter E, and then we have a fairground. So this was Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray. Number seven, we have a seagull. And then we have a Bon Iver track. Bon Iver? Bon Iver? Bon Iver, I think. Bon Iver. Oh my goodness, stop it. Okay, so a Bon Iver album and then an aeroplane, and this was Gulliver's Travels. Gulliver Travels by Jonathan Swift. Number eight, we had a picture of Frank Sinatra, followed by an ampersand, followed by a very large glass of beer, which was not actually a pint, it was a Stein. So this was Frank and Stein, so Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Number nine was the one that people seem to find the most difficult when I did this quiz earlier in the year. It is a picture which says March the 16th. It is not the Ides of March, that is March the 15th, I believe. This was Middlemarch by George Eliot. Number 10, Mr. M actually came up with this one, which I lolled at for a very long time. And yes, I did just say lolled. If you're not aware, because if you're not aware, then this would be difficult to get. The picture on the screen, there are 36 pictures of the band Steps, who own my heart. I mean, I was going to say they did when I was young, but they still own my heart right now. They're most known for their songs Tragedy and 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, all the great stuff, all the tunes. So this is 36 pictures of the band Steps with a sign in the middle that says +3. 36 plus 3 is 39. So this is the 39 Steps by John Buchan. Okay, so we're moving on to the second half. These are the ones that I came up with this weekend, and as I said, I had far too much fun coming up with them. Number 11, you can see a picture of Huel. Huel is something that Mr. M has for lunch, and I find it quite not great. It's a weird, I guess, like protein shake kind of thing. It's, you know, you can eat it instead of having actual food, but it has all the vitamins in that you're supposed to have, and he has that some days. Anyway, Huel, and then the letter A, and then you've got a picture of the ocean underneath. So if we say Huel, sea, this is Ulysses by James Joyce, a book that I have not read, and to be honest, probably never will. Number 12, we have a picture of an oar. I hope that you can tell that that's an oar. I was worried it looked a little bit like a broomstick, but it's done now. This is an oar. And then we have a picture of a local area network, so a LAN. And then we have a picture of a deer, but it's not a stag, it is a doe. So this is oar, LAN, doe by Virginia Woolf. Number 13, we have a picture of the wind blowing, and then we have two pictures of Alison Hannigan's character in Buffy, a show again which I have never seen, but what a queer icon. Her character's name was Willow. This book is The Wind in the Willows. Number 14 tickled me. This is a picture of the McDonald's sign and someone who's using breath freshener. This is Macbeth. Macbeth. I was sharing these with Jean and Lauren as I was making them, and Lauren was like, McFresh? Macbeth. Macbeth. Okay, number 15. This was the one that took Lauren and Jean the longest to get, which I found strange because I thought it was one of the easiest. This is what I mean by finding it interesting, because everyone's brain works in different ways. And of course, it's very easy for me to say that it was quite easy because I knew the answer. All right, so we have a picture of a dog, we have a picture of a basket, and we have a picture of a map of Paris, but the particular word that you should be paying attention to on that map is ville, which I'm saying in an English accent as opposed to a French one, because that's the sound that we need for this particular book, which is the Hound of the Baskervilles. Not the Baskervilles, but close enough. Number 16, I think, is probably one of the easiest ones if you just say what you see, which is some grapes, a cat, and a bee. Grapes, cats, bees. Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Number 17 is a sign that says pin the tail on the donkey game, and then a sign to London and a sign to Newcastle. So the word that we're picking from the first image is tail, and then London and Newcastle are both cities. So this is Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Number 18, we have a packet of Werther's Originals, then we have a ring, and then we have a child standing next to a height chart. So we have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Number 19, I think, is my personal favorite. I'm not really sure why. I think I like the flow of it, and I like the double image at the end. So this is a picture of a jug, a picture of a door, a picture of Ian McKellen, and then a picture of Ian McKellen as Gandalf the Grey. So if we don't call it a jug and instead we call it a pitcher, and then we have a door, then we have Ian McKellen, and then we have Gandalf the Grey, we have a picture of Dorian Gray, a picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. And finally, number 20, this is a compass, which is highlighting north, and then we have a man who looks rather cross, and the beginning of the alphabet A and B. So this was North Anger Abbey. North Anger Abbey by Jane Austen. So that is the end of the quiz. I hope that you had fun doing this, and if you want to roll it out at Christmas or any other occasions, be my guest. Do so. Let me know in a comment down below if you took part and how many you got right, and your time if you want to share that as well. I may do more of these in the future because, as I said, I had far too much fun making them, and next time, because I'm probably running out of classics that I want to use, I may do more recent books, maybe really popular books, or at least ones that are popular on the old booktube. So if you'd like me to do that at some point, let me know. I hope you're all having a great start to the week, and I will see you all very soon. Lots of love. Bye.